Welcome to the special broadcast brought to you by Government Communication and Information System. My name is Musoto Stone, and it's a Thursday. We are back in this 2020 year, 2020, and it's episode 19 of Let's Talk Justice, Living Your Rights. And as usual, we're bringing you more about rights, development, legality, and all sorts of things that has to do with justice and constitution. Tonight, we will be educating on rights of children during separation or divorce, and also we're raising awareness on services offered by the Office of the Family Advocate, and we're highlighting the mandate of that office, as well as raising awareness on co-parenting and parental plans. You know, some of the people I can just imagine now what's going through to say you are a single parent, reasons and they are personal and they are not within the legal framework and all that kind of stuff. But tonight we have a pleasure of welcoming Advocate Nashvile Britz. Nash, welcome, and thank you so very much.
No, thank you. I'm pleased to be in the studio this evening to discuss the rights of a child during separation and divorce.
Yeah. Just as I said, introducing the show, we find people at odds with each other simply because they are not aware of these kind of rights, legality, and what the Family Advocate Office does.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where you should start, but I think you know.
No, I think let me say first and foremost, a family advocate is an unbiased family law expert who assists parental parties to reach an agreement on disputes regarding care and contact of children through mediation. The family advocate is also a neutral person who focuses solely on the best interest of a child. Right? We are not. It should not be understood that we are a legal representative of the child. We are not. But we obtain the views of children through child-focused approach or child-focused approaches. And at our office, we work in a multidiscipline, which means that we work together with social workers. So when we conduct investigations, then we can be assisted by social workers, right? And we are employed by the Department of Justice, and we render free service.
Wow. So basically, when people start divorce,
Offices of the Family Advocate that were established in the 1990s, according to the seats of the High Court, that was still the apartheid South Africa. So the High Courts that were excluded were those ones in the so-called territories, self-governing territories for black people, or the TBVC states. But with the rationalization of justice laws during 1996, offices became established in all 9 provinces. So you will have a family advocate office in each and every province.
Yes.
Right? So our mandate normally is, I think it stemmed from the Mediation of Certain Divorce Matters Act, where it was only involved in divorce matters, so in the High Court. Over the years, our mandate became, or our mandate was extended to the promulgation of certain laws. Now, just to explain in terms of divorces, in divorces we could become involved through either parties requesting us to become involved in divorce, because they might, in a divorce regarding children, there might be issues regarding care, contact, and guardianship. They would then request us to get involved. Or we, based on what we read in the divorce documentation, we can request the court to become involved if there's any serious concerns regarding that minor child, or the court, when the matter is then before the court can then decide or request us to conduct an investigation. Just briefly to say that while we were only focusing on divorce back in a few years back, our mandate is extended, or was extended. So we're dealing through the following promulgations. So we were looking at the Recognition of Custom Marriages Act. We're dealing with Hague Convention matters of international child abduction. The Maintenance Act has some influence in terms of our mandate. Domestic violence. The Children's Act has been amended to include the family advocate. So there are sections that deals with, the family advocate and the mandate. The African Charter has impact on our mandate.
Where, for instance, if you are in Oudtshoorn, you would have to come to Cape Town.
Yes, I think that was, and I think that is the beauty of it, is that the access has expanded. Oudtshoorn, for example, they don't have to come and divorce now in Cape Town, because Oudtshoorn, the regional court in Oudtshoorn, can now deal with, those divorces. And also, as I said, that the Family Advocate's Office is also situated or present in George, which covers, the Oudtshoorn area, so which
the
means that
Eden
the Eden district. So they
district,
cover
yes.
those areas. And then, as I said, also in other provinces, in every province, you would have family advocates office. So, for to provide the service there and to make it accessible
Yeah.
to people in those areas.
All right. Now, under normal circumstances, I'm sure you have to deal with divorce doesn't come that easy, or maybe in terms of settling in the interest of children.
Yeah.
Now, that's one very complicated matter where you might find that people fight over small things like that. How does the family advocate ensure that
Then maybe I can give an explanation in terms of, what is it we do, and maybe in that what we do, how it fits into to the greater scheme of things.
Yes.
What we do is we help parents draft parental responsibilities and rights agreements. We help them to draft parenting plans. We also register parenting plans and parental responsibilities and rights agreement. We can also then amend these parental responsibilities and rights agreements and also the parenting plans, right? As I said, we help to mediate where there's a dispute, whether the person is the unmarried father of the child, and whether he has parental responsibilities and rights or not. We also monitor court pleadings, such as summonses where children are involved, and also looking at settlement agreements to deal with settlement agreements or any other document impacting on the best interest. So during that mediation, like I said, also we are child focused. We look what is the best interest of the child. So when we sit down with the parties, the focus is always the best interest of the child. Yes, they provide certain challenges to you. However, you must weigh that up in terms of what is in the best interest. In court matters, where matters go to court, as I said, we also work in a multidiscipline. So if parties cannot come to some form of an agreement, and where the child has expressed a certain view, and we believe that view is in the best interest of that child, we can also ask our social workers that are within our offices free of charge to conduct a forensic investigation. So they will go speak to collaterals. For instance, they will speak to neighbors, they will speak to the schools, and they will get information and provide a report to us. And we will then in turn then provide a report to the court.
Yes.
We will then indicate what, based on the information that we received, what is in the best interest of a child. It is a complicated situation sometimes when you deal with, people that fight over pans and
People
pots.
with temperament and all that.
You get that. But I think I suppose it comes with, when divorce is an emotional issue.
Yes.
And I think our office that's why our office was established, is to, while they are fighting and while they're emotional, there needs to be someone, there for the child, for the best interest of the child, and bring them back.
All right, that is the voice of Advocate Nashvile Britz. He is from the Office of the Family Advocate, and tonight we are talking what's in the best interest of a child when there is separation or when there's divorce. We're also going to be talking more about all those multidiscipline services that Nash is talking about. And also, if you want to discuss with us, if you want to join us, you can also join us on hashtag Let's Talk Justice. It's a conversation, and also you can be calling us on 0800 314 446. 0800 314 446 is a toll-free number if you're using a telecom line, or if you're using your cell phone, do call in. Mfundo will be able to take your calls and call you back. And on Facebook, we are on the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development. And on Twitter, we are at DOJCD_ZA. So we're looking forward to hear from you. It's 0800 314 446. 0800 314 446. That's the number to dial. Now, Advocate Nash, according to you, what would be the ideal? I know that we have differences in terms of creed, in terms of color, in terms of culture, but nationally, as a South African, what would you say is an ideal settlement between two parents who love their kids? I would just put it that way.
Yeah. Look, there's nothing like an ideal settlement. And I think, when parties go into the divorce, some of them wants to say win or lose.
Mm.
As we say, there's no winner, there's no loser. I think the only winner should be the child.
Yep.
So every circumstance or every settlement agreement is depending on its own circumstance. So the child in that settlement agreement needs to be protected, and it should be in the best interest of that child. So when we look at these them together to see what is the best for that child. And I think also what is also important is that while you have the parties agreeing on something, it's also important to emphasize the voice of a child, because a child's voice is important. You know the old saying, a child should not be heard, should only be seen. You know?
Yes.
I think the idea is to involve the child. The child should be involved and say, look, I have a voice. So, yes, it should be a responsible voice. We should still determine whether what the child has been saying is in fact in the child's best interest, but where a child has reached the age of maturity, that child's voice should be heard. And I think the ideal situation is or should be where both parties come to some form of an agreement, instead of where they come up with the agreement and they put aside their differences of the past and they realize that conflict.
He's going to take us through this topic tonight. When and if, or you know someone who, normally we should be not talking about these things only when there's a problem. Maybe sometimes you could also advise us in terms of how do you go about it? Are you able to take care of those kids? Are they able to go to school without any hindrance? Because in this day and age, we're talking about depressions, we're talking about all these different kind of challenges, health challenges that are caused simply by small things like parents might be divorced and I'm not focused at school. So I believe somewhere, somehow, legally so, that's what you take care of in terms of support, Advocate Nash?
Yeah. Look, I think what we don't provide therapy to the children. But during investigations or during our interventions, we would explore, we will explore those avenues in terms of saying to the parents or to the courts that this child is at risk based on the conflict between the parents. So we will put in measures in place to safeguard the interests of that child. For instance, if there's depression, we will say to the court or make recommendations to say, look, there should be therapy provided to this child. Sometimes therapy to the parents as well, because during a divorce process, they still have to deal with the underlying issues. You know, sometimes we're so quick to say the child must go for therapy, but it's actually sometimes, the parents that needs to go for therapy and deal with their underlying issues or their inability to deal with the separation. And that might also cause, the child to be impacted in a negative way. So I think the mechanisms that we put in place is there to safeguard the child, especially where we detected that type of risk that you were mentioning is present in a particular situation.
That's right. All right. And also now, the socio-economic impact in terms of, because some of these people, they separate or they will divorce based on the fact that maybe one is a big mining manager, the other one is just somebody who does a layman's job. Either or, whether it's a lady or... And now there comes this thing of custody for children. And
yes.
Is there still something that allows sole custody by one parent and not the other?
No. Look, there are many things, and I mean our society, there are many things that people think, and money is one factor. Also, they believe that if you are the mother, then you are the natural guardian. In terms of our law, both are co-holders of parental responsibilities and rights.
All right.
And we cannot just accept that because one has one parent has more money than the other parent, that you should go with the one that is only one of the factors that you look at, but that cannot be the determining factor. We look at the ability to care for the child. Also, we look at the other aspect as to whether the other person is able to provide maintenance to the person that doesn't have, the right. amount of money. Because if the attachment of the child is maybe more towards the other parent that doesn't have so much money, and we find that the parent as a greater bond with the child based on the fact that the child has been staying for the parent, or there's maybe just a better relationship with the parent. And not to say that, the child doesn't have a relationship with the other parent. We cannot say because a person has now more money than the other person, that child must now go stay with the parent with the more money. That is not, the determining factor, and it shouldn't play a decisive role when we look at the best interest of the child.
All right. 0800 1. I nearly said the Praetorian number. 0800 314-446. 0800 314-446. Remember, tonight we are broadcasting live from Cape Town. As we're not broadcasting from Pretoria, so please just make sure you bear with me if I just say 0800 142 446, because that's the Pretoria number. But the Cape Town number is 0800 314 446. 0800 314 446. In case you've been calling the 1421, just know that there's no one in Pretoria, and over here in Fundo will be here. And I know this topic is actually affecting many of us around, and either the paternal ones, if they've been taking care of the kids, they feel like the kids belong to the paternal side, and the maternal side of. How much legally does that hold ground in terms of interference by, let's say, extended relatives? Yeah.
Look, I'm not going to lie with you. Those things does happen. In terms of where one family is excluded. In terms of the law, the best interest of a child, there's a section 7 in terms of the Children's Act. It says, when you look at, one of the factors when you look at the best interest of a child is that the child has a right to an extended family. It means that despite the fact that there is a conflict between the parents, the parents should be in a position to say, look, a child has the right to be exposed still to both families.
Yes.
Whether it's the paternal or it's the maternal, whether the child was staying with the one side of the family, the child should be exposed to, if it's in the child's best interest. And I think it does happen. However, during our recommendations, we look at those factors, or in our investigations, and when we recommend, we look at those factors, and we can recommend to the court that this child has also a right to have access to extended family. In fact, there's also a section in the Children's Act, Section 23, that says if you're an interested party, and that normally cases for the grandparents or aunts or whatever, if you want to have access to a child or contact with a child, you can bring an application to court. So if you're a grandmother and you say, I want to have access to my grandchild or aunt, then I would go to court and say, I want to have access to my grandchild because that's in the child's best interest. Yeah.
I just want to ask, maybe, let's say it's not even a marriage situation. It's just that you had a child. But anyway, we have a caller on the line. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Hello, caller. How are you doing?
I'm okay, and you, sir?
I'm all right. And who is speaking to?
You're speaking to Puseletso here from Horizon.
Hello, Puseletso.
Ntate.
Ame.
Ke kentse divorce mo report court ba ba re ki setse tsona ko Rambeke ko di sheriff. So ke na le 3 to kgwedi ke di sitse di she ke kopa fela go botsa ke a utlwa gore ka re ha le bui ka tebe di nkana ko e kae di ile di sheriff, because ntate o sala ntlogela le bana ka 1999 ke godisitse bana ba ka ba godile bana le nna setse ke tlotse 60. So ke bona gore ke dule ntse ke re ke nyetswe ke sa tsebe motho kwa teng ke godisitse bana ke le iwane yaanong ke bona gore ke kenye divorce. Potsa ka fela gore di sheriff di nkana ko e kae before di summons di loka, because ke di sitse Rambeke ba ba re hape ha di lokile ke lo itatela tsona itlisa court ya report. Ntate.
Okay, a rutlo re Advocate Nashvile o renga yona mme.
Ke a leboga.
Ke lebohile ho.
Ke be fatshe.
O ka be ya fatshe mme wa utlwela radio.
Thank you, ntate wa ka.
Ke lebohile ma.
Ke lebohile.
All right. Advocate Nash, she's saying, let's take another one. Let's take another caller. Fundo is saying there's another caller. Hello, caller. Hello? Yes, sir.
Yes, good evening, sir. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you doing?
No, I'm good, and I'm passing my greetings to the guests over there.
Thank you very much. Good evening.
I've got a question.
Yeah.
Can I give you a background scenario first before I get into details?
Okay, no problem.
Well, I've got a friend. This friend of mine, she's a female. So she was in love with this other guy. That guy is from here in Rustenburg a while back. So the child has grown without, and then they separated the parents. So during that period, the father hasn't provided whatsoever financially or even by paying visits. He hasn't been doing anything. The lady has been solemnly doing things. So I want to know is it possible for the lady to apply for the maintenance if she's in possession of the Lesotho documents, or does she can't apply because she's the Lesotho citizen? I would like to clarify on that.
All right. I hope, Advocate Nash, you got that one. Do you want any follow-up question?
Now, I just need to be clear. Are you saying that the father of the child, the biological father of the child, does not pay maintenance?
Yes, and it's been something like 12 years, if I'm not mistaken.
How old is the child?
Pardon?
How old is the child? 12 years.
No, the child is 14. It's 14.
14 years old. And the father has never paid maintenance?
Yeah, he has never paid maintenance ever since the separation between the parents.
And the mother of the child, let's get it clear, Malum. The mother of the child is of Lesotho, is a Lesotho national.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So you listened to us on the radio for the response, right?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. All right. Fundo, we still have another caller? Not yet. All right. Advocate Nash, let's get on to those ones. Maybe if you can start with the gentleman's
Look,
question, and then we can get to money.
Lesotho is, I think, an international country in terms of. So I just need to maybe what I can do is actually gotten the details of this gentleman.
I'm sure we do have the details.
Because what I can do, I can look at the arrangement between South Africa and Lesotho, and just see if there's any arrangement in place regarding reciprocal maintenance agreements, which means that if there's as I understand, there's a maintenance agreement in place, then the person can then apply to be enforced, in this country or not. I just need to see the position in terms of that. And maybe just get more detail before I respond to that, because it's quite complex, when it comes to international relations.
Yes.
If it was locally, I would have just advised to go to the maintenance court and have it enforced. Because now that we have an international situation, I think let me rather earn the side of caution, and I think let me get back to this caller.
Yeah.
All right. And refer him to the appropriate,
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Now, Mami from Horizon, she says she filed for divorce. It's been a process and very tedious. And in fact, the partner has not contested, but she has put in that she has went to Randburg. They've been sending her from pillar to post. But she's now, even the kids now are old. They probably are about to take care of themselves if they are not already taking care of themselves now, which is something I didn't get quite very clear. But from what she's saying is that she's got grown-up kids now who can understand these things. But now she still wants her divorce to be finalized.
Yeah.
Now, how long does it really take in terms of this process? Because she's been going from pillar to post and she's not sure. Why is she taking? It's almost like 3-4 years now.
Yeah. When we conduct investigations, it depends on
They are drivers, so I'll park one side.
Okay, Mfundo, I think you should be helping us there. All right, you can go on, Advocate Nash.
I think,
Hello?
Yes. Someone...
It's Bongile. I'm calling from Cosmo City.
Bongile, just hang on a little bit. Let Advocate Nash tackle this question first, right?
No problem. Thank
okay,
you.
Just hang on. Just sorry for just a moment, ma.
Okay,
thank you.
All right.
No, I think, what has happened here, if the kids are older than 18 years old, then they no longer, how can I say, the courts don't have any jurisdiction. even if they are dependents, if they were kids during a divorce, if they were younger than 18, the courts would have had jurisdiction over them, meaning the court could decide still what happens to the care contract and guardianship. But once they reach the age of 18 or the age of majority, the courts cannot make any decision regarding, then they can distinct for themselves. In this instance now, and then what happens then is that divorce between the parties must proceed in terms of their property, their debt. If they have a pension, then they can proceed in terms of those things. So I'm not sure if it's uncontested. As I understand, from my experience also as a lawyer dealing with divorce matters and also as a family advocate, if it's uncontested, and I'm not sure how they operate in Randburg, so maybe it's better that she speaks to the clerk of the court in that specific court, or to ask what is happening with the divorce matter, because if it's uncontested, then they might giving to a person.
Yes.
And the person doesn't contest, then this matter can go to court unopposed or undefended, as I could say.
Yes,
right?
That's right.
If there's issues with the children, then it might take a bit longer because we have to investigate the best interest of the child.
That's
so
right.
depending on what issues there is, it can take a bit longer to investigate those issues. But in this instance, if the children are over 18, we no longer have a role to play as a family advocate's office, because the children can decide for themselves what happens in terms of their care contract and who they want to stay with, because they are grown-ups. So I think the only instance is for this lady to go back to court, to the clerk of the court, and say, look, my children are big, they do not form part of this divorce anymore.
Yes.
So there's no reason why this divorce cannot go, unless there's some issues that they're still fighting about, whether who the house should go to, or furniture must go to this, or there's debt. So it could be those issues that are complicated. But if it's uncontested, I think she must go back to the clerk of the court to determine.
Yeah. Which I believe that's her frustration, that it's not moving. There's nothing that's been said. And probably I would like to believe that we are governed by the same laws.
Yes.
But now the administrationals are done by various people from Cape to Gauteng and all that. So I think what does one do when they're not satisfied with these kind of processes, especially when it comes to this? I'll get back to you, Smongile. I just want to clarify this
I think,
quite very quickly.
Like as with us, there's a complaint section within every office. So which means that if matters take long or matters are not dealt with properly, there is a complaint section within the family advocate's office.
We don't want people to be coming with petrol bombs to the family advocate's office, because these days people are angry.
People are angry,
very
and
angry.
sometimes in some cases rightfully so, because I think we need to be accountable as an institution that deals with these type of matters. And I said when I said that she needs to maybe approach the clerk, that's maybe the first point of entry. But within Justice, Department of Justice, there's also a complaint hierarchy, so to say. So there's a court manager that the person can go to within the court if the clerk doesn't assist. Or the regional office that could maybe assist, so those things are in place, especially for where people are not satisfied with, how those matters are dealt with. And as I said, within our office, we also have a complaint protocol where people can
All right, Advocate. Let's take three. We start with Sis Bongile. Sis Bongile.
Hi.
How are you, ma?
I'm very good, thanks. Now
Thank you for your patience and welcome.
No problem. Thank you for taking my call.
All right.
I'm divorced. It's now going for 2 years, right?
Yes.
And then everything went well. We shared everything that was supposed to be shared. But now I'm struggling with my ex-husband. He is involved with the kids and everything, but according to the settlement, we were supposed to go half-half when it comes to everything that has to do with the school kids. We've got 2 children together, but he's been garnished for maintenance, so I don't have a problem with that. I do get that one, but now he's not playing along when it comes to school. So I wanted to find out from the advocate, what should I do? Should I go back to my lawyers and tell them that he is not playing his part when it comes to the schooling of the kids? Or do I go back to court?
All right. Is there something
and, another question that I wanted to find out. If he has been garnished for maintenance, does it increase yearly, or how does it go about with the increase for the maintenance, or does it stay on the same amount that he was garnished for?
Very profound question. Very profound question, Sibongile. Would you like to listen on radio, or maybe you'd like to do any follow-up with Sibongile just now?
I can just, Sibongile, can I ask you, in terms of the schooling, was that included in your divorce order?
Yes, it is on the order, on the settlement, sir.
And is also the increase also put in your divorce order for the maintenance?
Yes, on the order it says it will increasing according to, is it CP, what is that word? Consumer Price Index, according to the CPI. So it says it will increase according to the CPI.
And can I ask you, the court order was made in the divorce court, and did you go to the maintenance court?
Yes, we went to divorce court, and we also went to the maintenance court.
And the maintenance court gave you the garnish order, am I right? Okay. So I think that would be then the starting point, is to go back to the maintenance court, especially in respect of the fact that to determine also the CPI increase. I'm not sure to what extent it hasn't increased, or how long the amount is still the same. So I think it's important for you to go back so they can then amend that amount. And also, if he's not doing in terms of the maintenance order or the divorce order what he was supposed to do in terms of the children, then I think it's worth looking at, from a maintenance court point of view. So I would advise you to go back to the maintenance court and indicate, any non-compliance that he might have in terms of a maintenance order, or any amendment that you want, increase in terms of your maintenance order. I'm not sure if I'm covering your answer.
No, you've answered me very well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sis Bongile.
Thanks, Dan.
All right, we're moving to another caller now. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Hello, ma.
How are you, sir?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm good. I wish to remain anonymous for now.
You are welcome.
My question is, I've been divorced. My husband applied for a divorce. That was, I think, 12 years ago. So the divorce doesn't proceed, right? By then, I was still working. I had my lawyer, whereby now to represent me as my defense. So we had a problem. So during that 12 years, I was retrenched. Due to what I didn't know, I didn't give him my 50% of my pension. And then I took it all. And then point number 2, we are having a difficulties in division of our assets, whereby now when I leave the house, I left the house because of an abuse. So what I wish to know, when divorcing, do they consider the reasons of you leaving the house due to the fact you were abused by the husband? Because for now, on our divorce, that is not been said. It's not been counted in. Point number 3, during our wedlock, he had 2 kids. And then with me, when I moved out of the house, I had 1. And then on the divorce papers, he said he's divorcing me due to the fact I had an extramarital affair. And of which with him, he is having 2 kids out of our wedlock. So what I wish to know, on this divorce then, when it's going to... So who's right, who is wrong? Does divorce count the abusive, the out of luck children? Because the reason with him is because I was adulterous on this matter. So how does it work when coming to divorce?
All right. Advocate?
Yes. Can I maybe just emphasize that the Office of the Family Advocate...
All right. Mami, do you want to listen on the radio now, ne?
Okay, yes, sure.
All right. Thank you so very much for your call.
Okay, thanks.
All right.
Yes, thank you. Let me just emphasize...
maybe just before that, I'm told by Mfundo that we have another caller online. Hello, caller.
Yeah, Baba.
Sawubona bo.
Yeah, wasanibona ba.
Ninjani?
Hayi siphilile nokho baba, siphilile nokho siyeza ke.
Oh, ngomusa kaJesu.
Hayi ingxaki baba. Hayi mangilalela uhlelo lapha ngizolithinta likhuluma nami straight baba. Ngizokhuluma nami ukhuluma nobusha kamtshali ngilapha kaNongoma
Siyabonga babuhle.
Ngiye ngahlangana nengxaki ngalahlekelwa umfazi edukile umfazi ngingazi ukuthi kutheni ngase ngithola ukuthi no kunomonakalo khona kawenzile ngangingawazi mina ngabe sengithola ukuthi lenkosikazi lona sengithumela amaphoyisa ungihlaba ngeapplication divorce yaletha amaphoyisa isikhonzi senkantolo lapha ekhaya bathi nansi incwadi esokusayinisa nalo mfazi wakhe uthi asokusayinisa nansi incwadi engasatholakala I'm sure 8 months engasatholakala indawo emafonini engazi ukuthi undawo ngasisibuza ukuthi thina la ekhaya nimthatha aphi lo mfazi ngoba manje siyamazi siyamfuna lapha nezingane ezimbili bathi no thina lencwadi sisevela abameli baseFriday lencwadi lena bathi asirifile lapha eNongome lencwadi ithi ucela ukuthi ngimdivorce ngoba udiniwe yimi ukhathele yimi ngathi ke mina no ngoba vele lenkosikazi yasebenza uyinesi ngamfundisa 4 years ngimfundisa mina ngisebenza indawo ngangisebenza lesikhathi manje ngisasebenza indawo ngakhuluma ke siyifamily ukuthi ngiyenze njalo lencwadi ngisayine wasesigayida ke nalo baba lo owazosidilivela yena lencwadi ezoseva wasigayida ukuthi no isayine lencwadi uma ngayisayine izokuphikisana nomthetho wenkantolo ngayiclosa ke lencwadi le application ye divorce yaphinda ke emuva bahamba nayo Tothi ke ngahlala ke ngamamela ukuthi izokwenzakala ngamamela ngathola icall esuka bathi basuka isuke Friday bamile bathi